Don't make these 17 mistakes in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I played the game for about 35 hours right now. I think it looked beautiful. Just look at this majestic open world. And I have some awesome tips and tricks for you guys so you don't ruin your game. My name is Franky Boy and stay tuned for that. What's up guys? Welcome to the channel. If you didn't know me so far, I make tips and tricks videos on recent and some older open world games such as The Witcher, Assassin's Creed, Cyberpunk, and now also Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And I think this game is a 7 out of 10. That's my review on it. I made a video with a review on my German channel Fragnard, but I didn't find the time to make one for this one. Alright. Let's quickly get into it. Tip number 1. Push through the story as fast as you can to get this awesome flying mount, the Icran. You get the Icran after, I would say, 3 to 5 hours, depending on your playstyle and how fast you are. But this changes about everything for you. Fast traveling is key in this majestic open world. It's so huge and you will spend hours and hours on the ground trying to get to your goal or your destination, and you will get there so fast with the Icran. Well, let's not say so fast. It's quite slow for a flying mount, to be honest. You can see the flying speed is not light speed, but it's much faster. Especially there's so many heights to overcome, so many mountains and big trees. You need it. Tip number 2, get those ancestor skills as fast as you can after you got your flying mount. Why is that? Those ancestor skills, they are super OP. Just check out your ancestor skill tree and they are all active at the same time. So no compromise. You find them by pressing G on the PC. It marks them on the map and then you can just pick them up. Easy. They kind of look like these task saplings on the map, but please keep in mind those RDA bases, they kind of pollute some ancestor skills, so you need to clean those areas first. And cleaning a level 20 laser ore processor, it's quite, I would say, very complicated for you to manage, even on the easy difficulty, so don't get those. Tip number 3, don't miss out on bell springs. They tend to be in the open world everywhere. They give you 2 health for you. By the way, you can check it out over here on combat strength, and then you see like the health. Just don't miss out on them. Simply touch them and you will increase your health permanently. Super easy, super important. Tip number 4, hide collected stuff on the map by pressing R on PC, and you will see that's a so much cleaner map. Just make use of that and you concentrate on what you didn't collect so far. That's much better. Tip number 5, go to these open world places as early as you can after you got your ancestor skills and your flying mount, especially those RDA bases. You get some nice upgrades, some nice loot over there. I made the mistake and followed the story for I think 20 hours and I was totally focused on the story, but I missed out on all the opportunities in the open world, and you simply should like collect all the stuff you get there, especially if you look in your pouch, the spare parts. This is like the ultimate thing to get because you can get some nice weapons later on, especially this assault rifle. Tip number 6, cooking. You can like feed your Icran, but if you're on the ground, you can eat for yourself. You can find cooking stations by simply hovering over certain places on the map and you will see what you find on them, like a crafting table in this case or a cooking station. Just go to the cooking station. Now comes the important part. The primary ingredient is what makes the world go round. Like in this case, 30% less damage from wildlife. The second one sets the duration of the buff. And now you cook it and then you will get the product. In this case, it lasts for 31 minutes. Alright, that's great. You can even add some food to favorites, like your favorite food, of course. And would say like less damage from wildlife and RDA, it's super important because you take a ton of damage. And those fights, they tend to be very complicated sometimes because you can easily be like one hit on the hard difficulty. Tip number 7, combat strength. There are no levels, but there's combat strength and you can increase it by crafting or finding better gear and weapons, but also by getting new skills, and that is why collecting those ancestor skills is so important. I will teach you everything about crafting at bullet point number 17, but yeah, so far you know increasing your combat strength will make you a better Na'vi and it will make possible to clear out higher RDA bases, etc. So super important part right here. Tip number 8, the favor of the clans. It's one of the most important things for the Na'vi, and you can increase it by doing quests or fighting against the RDA, but also by using those clan baskets. And you can fill them up, they look like this. Each and every of those baskets has a certain need. This one needs creeping moss in fine quality at least. And since fine quality is like the least you will get, like basic is nothing you really get, you should be able to get the creeping moss. You can also show it in quest log and start tracking it. You can even put it up here to your hunting journal. Each basket just needs one thing and nothing else. If you put other things into the basket, it's just wasted and gone forever, so keep that in mind. Tip number 4, no, tip number 9, but it's on my weapon wheel 4, the staff sling. Staff sling, super OP, one of the best weapons in the game. You can sling like those AoE effect mines or so into the desert, into a base, and enemies will almost instantly die. Like those big mechs, they almost instantly die or always instantly die depending on your character strength and the enemy's strength. I rarely use it. Why? It's super expensive. Like crafting those, it takes like spare parts, and as said before, those parts, they are quite rare and quite expensive. You can use like 80 of those parts to get this assault rifle down here, and that is like a weapon that stays forever. But like this, you will just throw those parts into the wastelands and they will be gone forever. It looks nice, it's an awesome weapon, it's super OP, but incredibly expensive to use. So I would suggest don't put it in your weapon wheel, just don't use it. Get used to the bow, etc. and use that. It's a better choice, I would say, right? Flooch! And you can easily one-hit enemies with those as well, depending of course on the enemy type. Can I get some loot? Thank you for the gifts, man. Fine crafting material. Alright, tip number 10. Let's quickly go over the first skills to get. I would totally recommend going into Survivor first, getting those 30 health points, and then the larger healing pouch. It's super important, like get those as sap. Healing is key. Next one, maker. Making stuff is awesome, like duration of buff foods. Yeah, it's okayish, but what we really want is like the expert forager. And you can carry more stuff. Your pouch is always full, so you can make use out of that. Next up, shadow hunter, harder to detect while crouching, and light-footed hunter, no noise while crouching. This makes you a stealth player, and you can then crouch through the world. The funny part is, of course, crouching as a Navi is like a normal human person standing. But yeah, you kind of get used to the perspective of being that large pretty soon, I guess. Alright, tip number 11, hacking. You can set it on off, like autocomplete memory paintings. I hate those. Gathering complexity, put it on low, because choosing off will disable the option to get the performance bonus. That's why I set it to low. And autocomplete hacking and autocomplete lock-on. This is like the best thing. You don't need to hack anymore. I hate it after 50 to 100 times of hacking. It's nothing new anymore. I don't need to go through a maze to play Avatar. I want to play an open world game. And I would totally suggest you guys to turn it off as well after some hours of hacking and hacking and hacking. Tip number 12. Don't forget on your Apex. Like Apex memory, it's super crazy. Second wind right here. Just read through the caption. When activated, damage is reduced by 100%. Wow, that's insane. But you didn't see the good part. Because if you are critically injured, like when you die, you don't die. It's a second wind, a second life. Like, you remember the game from the early 2000s that's called Second Life? And there's absolutely no bad part about it. It just consumes maximum energy, like 50%, and you have to have some energy to even trigger it. Just make sure you have enough food to stay high on energy. Like that greenish, blue-greenish part, that's your life, and the purple part, that's your energy, and you increase it by consuming food, of course. Like 100% energy, increasing the RDA rations. Raw stuff, as you can see here, doesn't regenerate that much. Tip number 13. Go to your map and check out the C button. On console, it's something else. It will activate the biomes. And seeing those biomes is super handy, especially when trying to hunt something specifically. You simply just go over the biomes, hover over it, and you can see what you can find there. In combination with your hunter's guides, it's like the perfect match. But please remember to switch it back, because you can't make use out of the fast travel and the map itself if you switch it to biome mode. Tip number 14, clear up your inventory. You only have a certain amount of space, like I have 25 on gear and weapon materials. Some some cooking ingredients, etc. Simply make sure to go and put everything into your stash, into your hideout stash. You can find one, for example, in the Arena clan home tree or at some other clan things. You don't always see that it's there on the map, but it's always in those main stations. You have 200 space in it, just put your stuff in it and you will have a nice and clear inventory. Oh, and also don't make the mistake and take that one. It's not the community basket. Tip number 15, bullets versus arrows. If you try to go for a hunt, always use arrows. Bullets destroy the animals. The good thing about arrows is you can craft them. Like from wood, you can see over here. And I right now am able to craft 190 arrows and I still have 20 with me. So that makes it possible for me to shoot a lot of arrows on enemies. Now you can simply find sticks anywhere in the world, even in RDA bases, in the form of those metal baskets with stuff out of them, but wood is also always standing around and you can make use out of that. For hunting, I said always use those arrows. It's super important to use it. Oh, and I think that one got destroyed. It's ruined. I was too slow. But those bullets, they tend to be stronger for fighting enemy humans, of course. Like make use out of the pump gun and the assault rifle, of course. Those bullets, they can be found at everything RDA. Like some of these mechs right here, they drop the stuff. You can simply loot all the bullets they drop. They sometimes drop a lot of bullets, sometimes 2 magazines, sometimes less. It always depends. But yeah, you can only find those bullets. You can't craft them. Oh, and by the way, my secret tip for you guys is the pump gun. It's a super OP weapon. Why is that? It has such a high damage. The highest damage I've found so far in the game. And this one has 280. I found one early with 60 damage. You find it on the story mission, I think, after like 7 to 10 hours into the game. And these weapons, they are super strong. Like even stronger than my heavy bow, but also have a higher firing rate, but no range. That's the downside of it. But yeah, I would totally say make use out of the shotgun. It's just OP. Alright, last but not least, crafting. Let's first go over the mods, because mods are super important. Mods are bound to an equipment slot. They are not bound to a certain piece of equipment. You need to understand that. So picking a certain mod, like in this case I have elemental resistance on this head, but it's on the head slot. You can see it down here. It's like this purple dot right here. That's the mod slot. If I change the head, it's still the purple mod slot with the same mod effect. So this is like bound to a slot, the mod slot. If you understood that, then we can move on with the crafting system. Okay, first things first, you can't craft automatic rifles, anything human. You can only craft those Navi stuff. Moving on to the crafting table, I want to teach you guys on how to craft something. Like for example with this cape. Crafting early designs is very easy. You get those designs by completing quests or by trading them in for clan reputation. Clan reputation system, it's quite important. Get it by trading in or doing quests, etc. And then you can trade out those items at those Navi bases. First thing you need to match is of course having the design and then having the stuff you need. In this case, fine moss. But if you put in better moss, for example, like those awesome exquisite quality moss stuff, then you get the 83 health. That's like the maximum. And it's quite nice. On the bottom right side, you see you can compare the item to your current stuff you have on you. So this would be like a downgrade. But if I manage to craft like this chest, it might be better than my current stuff. You need like any moss, but you need exquisite moss. So we need to see which moss can be exquisite in the Hunter's Guide. It's quite easy. Just press Y on PC and see, okay, that one could be exquisite. The Bruce moss can be as well. So we just need exquisite moss. Which one could be the easiest? Of course, we want to go for the rare creeping moss or some rare stuff sheltered from wind and on the top of standing petrified trees. And then you can see, okay, where can I find them? And you can, if you want to pin those to the top right, and then you can follow those. You have like these hints where to find them. And then you can make use of the map. And then you can see like, material tracker. I can toggle it with X, of course. And I then cycle through those items. And now I can easily see everything. And I don't have to switch Hunter's Guide. What did I look for? This one there. There was. Go back to the map. Use those pins. It's super important. Trigger them carefully. Read through anything. It's super important. in Avatar. And yeah, I can now like go and search for rare mudgam shells in the ensnared lake in the northeast of the clouded forest. Where's the clouded forest? Yeah, here. Where's northeast? Here. Ensnared lake. Where might it be? Maybe somewhere around here. There could be a lake, I guess. And then I can go for it and hunt everything. You really need to go in and hunt it specifically. Then you go to your hideout, your 200 slot inventory, and then you take out everything you need for it. The better item quality you put into it, the better the item. Alright, and that's it, you guys. I hopefully could help you out, and I'm super happy to have you here on the channel. If you wish to, please stay and subscribe or check out those other videos I would totally recommend for you guys. Maybe this one or that one. It could be something you are interested in. Just look on the screen and check them out. And I will speak to you in the next video. If you follow the channel, feel free and welcome. Goodbye, guys.